Job searching can start as a project, then slowly it begins to feel like a verdict on your entire life. That shift is where job search burnout begins. Job search burnout is not just being annoyed by applications, it is the mental and emotional drain that builds when effort, uncertainty, rejection, and financial pressure keep stacking up without a clear sense of progress. Most tasks at work give feedback. You send a message, finish a report, fix a problem, or hear from a manager. A job search often gives silence. You may work for hours and get no response at all, so your brain starts filling in the blanks. Burnout is often described through three patterns. First, exhaustion. Second, distance or cynicism. Third, a reduced sense of effectiveness. In a job search, that can sound like, I am drained, this system is pointless, and maybe I am not good enough. The stress spiral usually starts with pressure. You need income, stability, recognition, or a way out of a bad job. That pressure pushes you to search harder. Searching harder creates more exposure to rejection. More rejection creates more pressure. The hardest part is not always rejection. Sometimes it is ambiguity. A clear no hurts, but silence keeps the mind open. You keep checking email, replaying interviews, and wondering if one small mistake ruined everything. The human brain handles stress better when it sees a connection between action and result. Job searching breaks that connection. You can tailor a resume, write a careful cover letter, and prepare well, but the outcome still depends on timing, budgets, competition, and internal decisions you never see. This is why job searching can feel strangely addictive and exhausting at the same time. One day you get an interview and feel hope, then 5 days pass with nothing. Random rewards keep you checking, while random silence keeps you tense. A job is not only money, it can also mean competence, belonging, status, and future plans. So when applications fail, the mind can misread market feedback as personal feedback. Instead of thinking, this process is hard, it thinks, I am the problem. One rejection means one company chose another path. 10 rejections can start to feel like proof. That translation is emotionally powerful, but it is not always accurate. Hiring decisions are noisy, and many factors are unrelated to your worth. Repeated uncontrollable outcomes can train people to expect failure before they even act. In a job search, that may look like avoiding applications, rushing through them carelessly, or not following up because part of you has already given up. If this kind of career psychology helps you feel less alone and more practical, consider subscribing. This channel is about navigating work with a clearer head, especially when the process feels confusing, unfair, or emotionally heavy. Burnout often gets worse when the search is driven by emotion. You wake up anxious, so you apply to 20 jobs. You feel rejected, so you stop for 3 days. You feel guilty, so you overcorrect and search late into the night. A healthier approach is to turn the search into a system. Instead of measuring your worth by replies, measure the actions you can control. These are your job search KPIs. They are not corporate buzzwords here. They are emotional protection. Good job search KPIs focus on leading indicators. That means actions that increase your chances but do not guarantee results. Examples include targeted applications sent, quality networking messages, interview practice sessions, resume improvements, and follow-ups completed. Interviews, offers, and recruiter replies are lagging indicators. They matter, but they arrive later and depend on other people. If you only measure those, your mood becomes controlled by the inbox. That is a fragile way to manage a long search. A simple weekly scoreboard can change the experience. For example, your goal might be 5 carefully chosen applications, 3 warm outreach messages, 1 practice interview, and 1 resume review. The exact numbers matter less than the principle. Track effort, quality, and learning. This does not mean you should move slowly forever. It means panic volume can become wasteful. Sending 100 rushed applications can feel productive, but if most are poorly matched, the search may become more discouraging without becoming more effective. Because hiring feedback is limited, you need to create your own feedback loops. After each week, ask what worked, what felt draining, what roles got attention, and what message could be clearer. The goal is not self-criticism. The goal is adjustment. Rejection needs a routine, because without one, every no becomes a fresh injury. A simple routine might be to read the message once, record it in your tracker, take one useful lesson if there is one, and then close the loop. Not every rejection contains a lesson. Sometimes the company hired internally. Sometimes the role changed. Sometimes hundreds of people applied. If you dissect every rejection as if it hides the truth about you, you turn missing information into self-punishment. One helpful move is to separate the event from the story. The event is, I did not get this interview. The story might be, my career is over. Naming the difference creates space. You can respect the disappointment without obeying the panic. Many job seekers treat rest as something they earn only after success, but recovery is part of performance. If you never give your nervous system a quiet window, every application starts from a place of threat instead of focus. A recovery window is a planned block of time when the search is fully off, not secretly checking job boards, not refreshing email, fully off. This teaches your brain that the search is important, but it is not allowed to consume the whole day. One practical rule is to search like it is a work shift. Choose a start time, an end time, and a small set of tasks. When the shift ends, you stop. Boundaries reduce guilt because you can say, "I did today's work." Burnout grows faster when sleep, meals, movement, and social contact disappear. These basics may sound obvious, but they are the floor under your search. A tired, isolated, underfed brain will interpret normal setbacks as bigger threats. Shame tells people to hide. It says, "Do not tell anyone you are struggling." But isolation removes one of the best buffers against stress. You do not need to announce everything publicly, but one honest conversation can reduce the feeling that you are carrying it alone. Networking is not just asking strangers for jobs. At its best, it is information, context, and human connection. A short conversation can reveal what a role really needs, which skills matter most, and whether a company is worth your energy. Burnout feeds on unknowns, so reduce the unknowns you can reduce. Learn what the hiring process usually looks like. Ask about timelines after interviews. Keep a tracker. Prepare a few repeatable answers. Structure does not remove uncertainty, but it gives it a container. Interview practice can also protect confidence. The goal is not to become a perfect performer. The goal is to make the situation familiar enough that your brain does not treat every question like an emergency. A common misunderstanding is that the right mindset guarantees results. It does not. A better mindset helps you stay steady, learn, and choose better actions. It cannot control the labor market, hiring budgets, or another candidate's background. Another misunderstanding is that if the system is flawed, effort does not matter. The hiring process can be messy and still reward preparation. Cynicism may feel protective, but if it stops you from improving your materials or reaching out, it quietly becomes expensive. Some stress is normal during a search, but certain signs deserve attention. If you cannot sleep, cannot function, feel hopeless most days, or lose interest in almost everything, it may be time to talk with a qualified professional or a trusted support person. The goal is not to make rejection painless. The goal is to stop rejection from running the entire system. A better rhythm is simple. Do focused work, measure controllable actions, recover on purpose, learn from patterns, and refuse to turn every outcome into identity. Job search burnout is not a character flaw. It is a predictable response to high stakes, low control, and repeated uncertainty. If you have a question about handling the emotional side of job searching, or you want a future video on a related topic, leave it in the comments.